greetings everybody. So I'm Nishchal Krishna Metla from ICFI Law University. Here I am interning at FDR. So today we have Dr. JP with us. Greetings, sir. So today we'll be speaking about the lateral entry system. So sir, coming to you, sir. So you have been a part of the second ARC committee, and you've made certain recommendations, and they have rolled out certain recommendations. So at the same time, is are those recommendations in consonance with yours, and what is the lateral entry system all about?
Nischal, I was on the Administrative Reforms Commission for some time. I resigned after a certain time. So, full disclosure, this report relating to administrative reform, the civil services, titled Refurbishing the Personnel Administration. This was released after I left the commission, but in a large measure reflects my views because the commission discussed these issues in considerable detail. The commission staff met me separately, flew down to Hyderabad, even I think after I left the commission. So it was informed by some of my inputs. So I broadly endorse it. First, we must understand what is right with our civil services, what is wrong with our civil services. What is right is, at least at the national level, federal level, the recruitment has been very, very impressive. The UPSC has been doing a remarkable job in a very difficult country. Lakhs of people appear for civil services. I understand in recent years, 13 to 14 lakh applicants. Probably half of them actually take the examination, all to fill about 800, 900 slots, of which IAS comprise probably about 100 slots or so. So incredible competition. I'm sure the selection process can be improved. There are deficiencies there. Nothing is perfect. For instance, the aptitude test, which basically is about logic and reasoning, has been relegated to only a qualifying examination instead of making it a merit-oriented. If you are going to recruit people who are decision makers and people who are an important part of the executive, you require people with decision-making capacity and logical faculty. It's absurd to make it only a qualifying criterion. And even the test, I'm told, increasingly is resorting to complex mathematics rather than real reasoning and logic. Ethics test, I'm sure, can be improved because I think it's perfunctory. You can really place before the candidates very complex, realistic scenarios and ask them to make an assessment, so on and so forth. So there can be improvements, there's no doubt about it. But such as it is, the quality of recruitment is very, very impressive. Nobody seriously questioned the credibility of the commission or the impartiality or the integrity so far. I don't think the state commissions in many cases have the same credibility. There are many complaints of corruption, of malfeasance, of partisanship, of influence peddling, and all kinds of things. But UPSC has been remarkable. But what's happening after recruitment? The incentives are not aligned to bring the best out of these bright young officers. Some of the brightest young Indians are enamored by the civil services, they enter these jobs, but we're not getting the best out of them. It's not their fault. It's because we have not designed the services well. There are three challenges, and this is what I have been arguing in the commission. And this lateral recruitment in some way addresses at least a couple of those challenges. The challenge one is there's no domain expertise demanded. You join from various streams. You can be from a humanities graduation, you can be an economist, you can be a physician, you can be an engineer, you can be a computer scientist, you can be anything practically. All that's required is a graduation. And once you join, you are fit for any job. In this day and age, to think that the same person is qualified to take care of the needs of millions of people, hundreds of millions of people, and 1 billion plus people at the national level, in education, healthcare, defense, economic management, or infrastructure, or rule of law is absurd. You require domain expertise. The second failing of the administration in the country is there is a monopoly given to key civil services, particularly the IAS. So almost all the key positions at the state level and national level are, so to speak, reserved for these people only. There may be outstanding expertise outside, but only these people. Now, when you get recruited at 23 or 24 years of age, you are among the best, no question about it, the selection process being what it is. But many others who are as capable as you or more capable than you might have not opted for the services at that stage. But 10 or 15 years later, they may want to serve the country. They may have developed the expertise and the knowledge required to be able to make a difference. They may have enormous passion, because at that level, at the age of 40 or 45, very successful people would have very high incomes. They have marketable skills. They don't join government for money. They don't join for a salary. They join for an opportunity to make a difference. Now, if you don't tap their talent, if the career civil servants do not compete with the best talent outside, you're not getting the best out of our administration. Because administration is not about administrators, it's about the people of the country, the taxpayers of the country. They deserve the best outcomes. And the third problem is, once you are recruited at a young age, though there are on paper some systems for promotion, etc., in reality, almost everybody goes to the top. There is no screening, and any system, any organization must be pyramidal. That means base must be many people. As you reach the top, there will be only one or two. If you join as a soldier, if every soldier becomes a general, then the country will not be governed. There's only one general. There are soldiers, then there are subadars, then there are non-commissioned officers, then the commissioned officers, second lieutenant, so on and so forth. And as you go up the ladder, the numbers shrink. But in civil services, the same people just go as cylinder. So you have in states 10 or 12 people of chief secretary's rank, 7 or 8 people or 10 people of DGP's rank in police. So what is happening? The mediocre and the good, there's no distinction. And ultimately, the governments are choosing whomever they favor on that day. Because you have a pool of 20 people from whom you can choose anybody, you're not always getting the best. Highly political appointments. So these three must be corrected. The recommendation pertaining to lateral recruitment is one important way of addressing at least two challenges. One is how to bring competition into civil services so that the best are available, people excel, and people outstanding can be recruited. The second is how to bring expertise and passion into government. You cannot say somebody who joined government through an examination at the age of 22 is the only person capable of governing the country. There are so many people in so many fields. You have seen, I'm sure you're young, but you still have to see it, but I have seen enough of people, outstanding people out there in the market who care for the country. Take something like your Startup India mission. Exceptional people join, giving up a large chunk of their salary. If they're earning, let us say, X now, they joined government at one-fifth of X out of passion because they want to make a difference. So if you don't take advantage of them, we are the poorer as a country. So the idea is that you must encourage the best talent to come in. Every country outside the Indian subcontinent, every significant country hires the best talent from the market. And there is lateral recruitment, parallel recruitment. Britain, the countries which we imitated from Britain, Australia, Canada, New Zealand. United States, of course, practically every senior civil servant is changed with every administration. But even otherwise, even when there is a permanent career civil service dominating, about 40% to 50% are through parallel recruitment or through lateral recruitment. So it's a very necessary thing, because somehow in India we got the notion that government employment is about the person who is employed. No. Government is for the public good. Government is owned by the people of India. Government is funded by the taxpayers of India. Government is supposed to serve all the citizens of India. So government employment is about the citizens of India and their welfare. Are they getting the best value for the tax money? No, they are not. I have a table here. I have asked our FDR team to do a study of the 50 largest countries in terms of economy, $200 billion plus GDP. And we have taken a series of standard global indicators from GDP per capita to life expectancy, to infant mortality rate, maternal mortality rate, healthcare out-of-pocket expenditure, number of years of education, educational outcomes, human development index, employment in agriculture, the ratio, all the standard indicators of modernization and progress. Nischal, on every indicator, and I'm saying this with great deal of pain, India ranks in the bottom 5. Every single indicator. Who are the people keeping us company on almost every indicator? Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nigeria. Indians are better than that. India is better than that. India needs more than this. So if we don't encourage the best talent to come in, innovate, bring in the passion, bring about significant results quickly, we are perpetuating poverty. We are undermining our own people. And if the government does not function well, the worst sufferers are the poorest of the people. As a friend said, the rich people of India have seceded from India increasingly. They have their own gated communities, their own very posh residential complexes. For most things that the government has to provide, they don't care, they don't need. If the government fails to perform with the quality education, quality health care, basic rule of law, protection and public safety, or stormwater drainage, a bit of a rain, you see stormwater, traffic management, the people who are most likely to suffer are the poorest people. And if we care for our country, and if we care for our economy, we are required to modernize, we are required to change with the global practices. You cannot continue with the colonial practices and pretend that's the only thing, because we are used to it. If you're doing very well, then I can understand. Why are you taking a risk? Don't take a risk. We're doing very well. Don't upset the apple cart. But when we're doing not as well as we should, and in some respects we're doing very badly, then we should change. Change our politics, change our administration, change our economy. That's what reform is about. So it's absolutely necessary. And we must understand that I cannot overemphasize this. Public employment is not about the employees. It is about the people of India, the voters and the taxpayers and the citizens. It is about serving their needs. It is not to fulfill the employees' requirements. It is to fulfill the employer, namely the people of India. We have forgotten that.
So, sir, why do people have this prestige issue, or why do people fantasize, getting into the services?
It's a great question. It's a great question, Nischal. There are, I think, several reasons. 3 reasons we can easily understand. The first is the colonial hangover. When the British were ruling, a handful of people, about 100,000 people, including all the British soldiers, and probably in terms of officials controlling the country, a few hundred to a few thousand people, they controlled the vast Indian subcontinent. So for us, they are the Sarkar, they are the Mai Baap. We had great respect, fear. White people, oftentimes on horseback in those days, there were no vehicles, nothing. So the notion of power in government became internalized. It's glamorous, it's powerful. And in those days, they were the highest paid civil servants. The ICS officers of India were the highest paid employees in the world. So a lot of prestige, a lot of money, a lot of power. So the glamour. And we're still not able to get rid of that. Despite 77 years of independence, our notion of government is still like a colonial government. The second is, as a society, we're hierarchical. Caste system is an intrinsic part of Indian society, unfortunately. So by birth, you differentiate, superior, inferior. We relate to others not in terms of what they accomplish, how hard they work,
Yes.
how much of good they promote, how much of knowledge they have, but in the hierarchy, where are they? Are they above me or are they below me? Hierarchy. So, hierarchical notion has become integral to our society. Therefore, a few privileged people occupying key positions of power is very glamorous and attractive. We think it's normal and natural. The third is we have not built mechanisms to make our government accountable to people. So, power is abused habitually. Power is for personal gain. Power is a private attribute. We almost normalized it. Therefore, there's immense opportunity of abusing power and becoming quote unquote very powerful, that's why the word often used about government is lucrative. Now, government should not be lucrative. Government should give an opportunity to serve the people well. What is lucre? Money. Government employment is not about money. Nowhere in the world. But we think government is lucrative. That means you can make a lot of money illegally or abuse power, help your own, hurt your enemies or adversaries or competitors. It's becoming an endemic. Abuse of power has become endemic in our society. On top of it, at least at the lower level and middle level, it doesn't apply at the higher levels. The wages in government are much, much, much higher than the market. The protection is lifetime. The post-retirement benefits are extraordinary.
Very much.
So add all these, everybody wants to be a government employee. For what purpose, God knows. Why we want to join the government, we don't even understand. We say generally, as a matter of habit, for public service. No, oftentimes it's about personal aggrandizement. I may sound very harsh, I don't mean to be harsh. I was myself a public servant, a proud public servant and a happy public servant. But our notion of this public service, we have not really internalized the idea of service. It's about power. It's about glamour. We have forgotten the purpose. That's why I often tell young people, we must learn to respect people by virtue of what they do to help us to make our lives better. A plumber is desperately needed when your bathroom, the plumbing system has gone bad. It is choked and it is all emitting foul smell. If the sewage is overflowing. A plumber is the most important person for you at that time. If you don't learn how to respect a plumber who's actually helping you on a day-to-day basis to make your life better, if you think some unseen collector or some other official is important, without even knowing what is it you're getting out of that person's work, then we're not living in a very sane society.
So, sir, talking about the recruitment, the general recruitment and the lateral entry. So, those who are appointed generally, are they efficient or are they efficient enough than the lateral, lateral
No, you see,
entry ones?
there is no doubt that we are recruiting some very bright young people. They have the potential to do very well. Some of them do outstandingly well, but not everybody is doing very well. Many, many others are very pedestrian and average. Over time, because as I explained to you earlier, there is no expertise in many areas. You're posted in one day in this department, another in that department. You have no desire to excel, you have no capacity to excel, you have no knowledge base and expertise. There's no accountability. And you have monopoly. But some are doing outstanding. The idea is not that these are all bad. The idea is twofold. One is to get the best talent from outside, because if you think somebody who is recruited through a very tough examination at the age of 22 or 23, you may have a desire to clear the examination, you may have done well, others may not have cared. And if you think that is enough, and automatically after 20 years it's guaranteed that you are the best, it is nonsensical. It's a different way of caste system. What is caste system? Your birth determines your future, not what you do, not what you learn, not how much you contribute. Similarly, if your point of entry determines your future, not what you have done with that opportunity that is given, then it's almost like another caste system. Now, supposing What I have been arguing always is, supposing all the key positions above a certain level, after let's say 15 years or so, they're all open to competition within the government, not only one service but all services in the government, and outside the government, or the civil society, or the academia, or the market, and you pick up the best. Then what will happen? Even those career civil servants who joined early on, they will now be on their toes, because now there is real competition. Now what is happening? There's no real competition. You have monopoly. Everybody is promoted automatically. Some good people are promoted. Some very average or pedestrian people are promoted. And then the government of the day, the politician of the day, is choosing whoever is more pliable, not always whoever is best. Sometimes the best are chosen. Often the pliable people are chosen. The best actually are a nuisance because they may not listen to you. You're not getting the best out of it. Supposing you have actually a selection system, a rigorous selection system, with competition, with expertise demanded, with the best from outside, from the market also coming in and competing, then you are well served. We need the best. Because again, as I explained, our performance is very, very inadequate to fulfill our dreams as a country. India cannot forever remain as a developing country and a poor country. We have the capacity to be much richer, much more successful, to give every child an opportunity in this country, and to give everybody decent health and a good lifestyle. It's possible, but not without improving the quality of administration and delivery.
So, sir, the elephant of the room, which is not actually, addressed properly, is reservation in lateral entry system. So,
There are several ways of looking at it. India is a diverse country. There has been institutionalized caste system and discrimination for centuries. And that's why our constitution makers have decided that there should be affirmative action policies to give opportunity to the disadvantaged sections. And that's why there's an impressive political consensus across the spectrum in India. But there are a few things you must consider before designing what is the best way of affirmative action. We need affirmative action to give confidence to people, to give opportunity. But the first is, we must remember, what is the primary goal? To improve delivery. As Deng Xiaoping said, it does not matter whether the cat is white or black, as long as it catches mice. Its purpose is to catch mice. Similarly, while what is the background of the civil servant is helpful, what really is important is, can the civil servant deliver for the people? By not delivering, you're not helping the poor. You're not helping the dispossessed. You're not helping the disadvantaged or discriminated. You're not helping the scheduled castes or scheduled tribes or backward classes or women. By delivering better education, better health care, better rule of law, better basic communities, giving better quality of life, you're actually serving better. So you must never compromise on that first. The second thing we must remember is, when you recruit people at a young age, then everybody is equally given opportunity. But when you recruit at the age of 40, 45, they're not coming for salary, they're coming for passion in most cases, or to love for the country. They want to do something for 5 years, they're passionate about something happening, and then they want to get out and do whatever they want in life. Then they're not attracted for money or as a career. They come with passion. You must not compromise that. Third, in a large bureaucracy, you only have a small number of posts where you recruit people parallelly like this, laterally. For instance, now they notified 45 positions of joint secretary, which also they, I think, now quashed the notification. Now there are 93 departments in Government of India. Each department has a secretary to government, probably 2 or 3 additional secretaries, probably 5 or 6 joint secretaries. So when there are 500 joint secretaries, only 45 were chosen in 93 departments. Now, if you want to reserve in a standard way, reservation, that means rotation, because you only have one post. This time it's for SCs, next time STs, next time BCs. It becomes absurd. So what we have to do is a different form of affirmative action. One way perhaps we can consider is, if you're recruiting 45 or 50 people, first of all, the Administrative Commission report, a Reforms Commission report suggested constitution of a civil services authority with a chairman and 4 members, one of whom will be a secretary to Government of India. And these members are recruited how? By a committee comprising of the Prime Minister and Leader of Opposition in Loksatta. So let's have some such committee, appoint the best people, let them decide what posts, how many posts, and then let them have the guidelines as to how to recruit. And instead of reserving a particular post, you give weightage to the social and economic backwardness of the background. But don't compromise on the qualities required, expertise required, experience and qualities. And give a guidance to the selection committee to make sure that put together all the socially disadvantaged groups for which you want representation for diversity's sake, you don't come below a certain percentage. Let's say 30%, 40%, 50%, whatever. If you're filling in 100 vacancies, 40 or 50 must be from this background. Make sure that that happens as far as practicable. Then you leave it to them. Then you will get the best then. Without compromising the quality, you will also make sure that the best are picked up from various communities. But it's not a very crude reservation of a particular seat with rotation, in which case you won't get the competence always. So yes, affirmative action is desirable, and there is a political consensus for that. The government withdrew the notification only because of affirmative action issues. But there is a very elegant answer which satisfies the affirmative action, all sections getting an opportunity, which does not compromise on the quality and expertise required, and which ensures delivery ultimately, because the whole purpose of civil service is to deliver to the people of India the services that they deserve, the public goods. So I think we must have a different model where a weightage is given to the backwardness, and overall you make sure, the appointing body makes sure adequate number from all these sections together they are appointed.
So, sir, with respect to the appointment in this manner, so usually people, they fear backlash because of implementing such a thing. They might, face some backlash. So, what would your appeal be to the people with regard? How would you appeal to the people that this is something?
General public, they want service delivery. They do not care who is delivering. They don't care whether the cat is white or black. So the problem comes from only 2 sections. One, standard political struggles. In a highly competitive democracy, whatever the government does, if I'm in opposition, I oppose. I don't care about what is right, what is wrong, what is in the interest of the country, what I've said before, what I've done before, or what I will say tomorrow, what I'll do tomorrow. That is the way politics operates all over the world. Why India? It happens in America, it happens in Britain, it happens in other countries too. It must change. But my appeal is, affirmative action we can ensure by a more intelligent design, an innovative design. But don't throw the baby with the bathwater. If we did not recruit Dr. Manmohan Singh into government, we could not have had an outstanding and a very upright finance secretary. We could not have had the architect of economic reform in India in 1991 under Mr. P.V. Narasimha Rao's leadership. We could not have had him as a prime minister. Take Montek Singh Ahluwalia, take Mr. Jay Khelkar, take Bimal Jalani, take many, many other people who served this country and serve this country now. Montek Ahluwalia, with great distinction. We need them. So don't throw the baby with the bathwater, because no matter who is in power, the politicians are taking the blame most of the time. But even when the policy decisions are right and allocations are right, the delivery in India is not adequate. You need to make the bureaucracy more efficient in delivery. Otherwise, the whole political system is getting delegitimized, and the poor are really perpetuating poverty. We are not giving them a chance to come out of it, the opportunity to come out of that. So it's in the interest of the country, in the interest of the political parties and the governments, whichever is the government in power. As far as civil service is concerned, if I enjoy a monopoly, if I am used to it as a matter of right and entitlement, Naturally, any change will upset me, right?
Indeed, sir.
But civil servants also one day will retire if they become citizens. After becoming citizens, they start complaining how bad the system is. I remember 25 years ago, Chief Secretary retired just days before that. He met me, he said, Jayaprakash, I never knew how terrible things were. We must do something about it. I said jocularly, I only wish that you realized that when you were Chief Secretary, at least some things you could have done, instead of recognizing it after you demitted office. So we all know what is happening. And there are outstanding civil services even today who are doing an exceptional job. I don't want to mention one or two because that will be, I will not be able to come up with a list of all the good people. And they are bearing the brunt of it. If more and more people join and strengthen you, it is to your advantage. You don't have to take the blame for failure. You actually can rejoice in the success collectively. And two, in a genuine competition, you're all very bright people with deep experience which is unmatched by others. The people who didn't have experience in government for 10, 15 years cannot be equal to you in terms of understanding the grassroots. So if a competition is there, you can compete with them. See, you don't have to create a system where only people outside government compete. Let everybody compete, in government and outside government. Many positions will be held by you. You get a natural advantage, but through competition. You have this confidence. You know that you are matching the best in the world at any point of time. And you're also, there's a cross-fertilization of ideas, you can deliver better. So your stock will go up. You don't lose anything, you gain everything, and the country gains. I'm sure civil servants join the government out of love for the country. If they rediscover the love and they realize the inevitable fact that after 60 years of age they go out of government and they're citizens, and then they are recipients of the government's service delivery. If it's bad, they too suffer. If it's good, they help themselves, they rejoice. Then I think they will realize that an improvement in the quality of civil service actually benefits everybody, the civil servants included, as a class of people.
So, sir, you've told that we haven't come out of the imperial hangover, which is actually, I mean, in my opinion, well said, sir. So, what do you think, sir? How was your experience in that regards? Like, you are a person of, great intellect. So, how did you see this? What kind of an experience was yours?
No, I keep urging young people, by all means, if you are passionate in public service, opt for civil services. But please remember, it gives you an opportunity, not power. Don't take it as, you are now up in the hierarchy, you are heaven born, you are superior human beings. That attitude must be given up. You are given a unique opportunity and privilege to serve with public money, not your money, with the authority given by the people through their legislatures. How many people have that privilege? At a very young age, you are endowed with enormous power and privilege. It's an opportunity. Take that opportunity, make the most of it, rather than thinking that I am the greatest, I am the best, I am superior, and I believe in hierarchies, everybody else is useless. I therefore look at services, inter-service rivalry, or direct recruit promoting. This is all a totally old world, feudal world. In an egalitarian world, each individual brings enormous ability and skill and qualities to the table. It's for you and I to utilize all of them together. We must have the humility with passion. So don't make it a 5-year plan and the only mission in life. What's happening is lakhs of youngsters, they are competing for civil services for years and years and years. Statistically, if 14 lakh people apply, only 1,000 people are getting selected. Only 1 in 1,400 is getting selected for any service. If you're talking about IAS, only 1 in 10,000 is getting selected for the IAS. Less than 1 in 10,000, maybe 1 in 12,000, 14,000 or so. Now, when that is the case, statistically balanced 13,000 people will not get selected. They have no chance. Are they all useless? When only limited numbers are chosen from a large pool, many others will not get selected. Now, when you try it as if it's your life's only mission, Give 5 6 years of your life. Then don't make it. Statistically, most people cannot make it. They are suffering from depression, self-flagellation, a sense of inferiority complex, and they're becoming unproductive for themselves and the country. It's a very sad approach. You can serve the country and society in 100 ways. Civil service is one way, not the only way, not even the most important way. It's an important way, not the most important way. You can serve in many ways. Many heroes of India who did their best to transform this country, not everybody was in civil service, or for that matter in politics. There are so many people in other walks of life who made a spectacular difference to humanity. And if your heart wants to be part of the government and make a contribution after you acquired enough expertise, you can always join through lateral entry. There is no reason to only think of one thing. So we must create that facility, just like the Startup India mission or something else. And they have done. Some bright young people, I'm told, are chosen, and they're doing a remarkable job. We must give that opportunity with excitement, with joy, with passion, to do it for a few years and make the most of it. And after that, no, if they want, they can continue. If they have done well and the government wants them and they want to continue, they may continue if they get joy out of the service. Or if they want to go back and make money honestly outside government and commercial activities, marketing their skills, let them do that too. So that's the way it should be. There must be porosity, this impenetrable barrier between government and private sector. As if, these are two enemies. You cannot cross the boundaries. This is a very silly, old-fashioned approach. There is no government different from the people. People are the real masters in a democracy. If you don't bring the best out of society into government, if the government does not think of itself as part of the citizenry, if they think we are the rulers and they think we are the ruled, you can never improve governance, you can never have true democracy.
So, sir, coming to the last part of the interview, so what kind of an impact would this scheme have on the regular people or the regular citizens of the country? And is this would this impact, it would surely impact in some or the other way. Is it would this bring out a major change, or would this bring, it is a start for a major
What do people
change?
want? You and I as taxpayers, as citizens. 25 years ago, you wanted a passport. Any number of times, passport officers themselves came to me and explained to me their problems. There were delays, inefficiency, corruption. Some police inspector, somebody comes, and all kinds of things happening. Today, passport service has improved. While government is the one that has to give the passport, the government has wisely decided that a lot of the passport functions can be discharged by private sector, by outsourcing. To the best of my knowledge, passports today are delivered on time, quickly, efficiently, predictably, without corruption. Now, how does the citizen care who is providing that service? What do you want? You want the passport. You want an Aadhaar card. Or you want something else, which is your entitlement. I want better electricity, quality of electricity. I want stormwater drainage. I don't want a rain causing flood every time there is a bit of monsoon rain. Delhi is flooded, Hyderabad is flooded, Bengaluru is flooded, Chennai is flooded. What kind of a shame is this in a monsoon-fed country? I don't want traffic to be in pell-mell. I don't want public transport to be in such disarray so that everybody has to have a private transport and there's congestion, bad management of traffic, accidents. Going out is hell. Driving is a very painful and very stressful exercise. 200,000 people are dying in India every year on account of traffic accidents, the highest number in the world. So we want a good life. We want the governments to do their part well, because most of the things that matter in our lives are in our hands. What kind of a sofa in which I sit, what kind of book I buy, what kind of a shirt I wear, what kind of pen I use, what kind of glasses I use, what kind of chappals I wear, where do I put my money, where I live, what profession I practice, what job I do. Where do I invest my money? How do I spend my money? These are all my private choices. But there are some things which government has to do well. The infrastructure, rule of law, basic amenities like stormwater drainage, sewerage system, and traffic management, quality education, particularly at school level, the outcomes. Every child gets an opportunity. Quality health care without out-of-pocket expenditure. And a genuine rule of law, effective and efficient rule of law, where everybody's rights are respected, crimes are punished. We know how things are terrible in many of these areas. Let's be truthful. What we care is these things. So the government does these things, we do our own things and we create wealth. That's how wealth is created, employment is generated, incomes go up, poverty ends. So as far as the people are concerned, they don't care who is delivering. They care what is delivered, how is it delivered. So it's our duty to do whatever it takes to deliver honestly, competently, swiftly, with quality. And if the governments elected for that purpose don't work hard and say, look, this is created 150 years ago, I continue with that, that's the way it is, that's not democracy. People elect governments to change the way things are done. Every election is a mandate for change, the things that need to be changed. Therefore, we must change our civil services. We must change our nature of politics. We can't have people spending 30, 40 crores for an assembly constituency illegitimately for vote buying and then expect good politics. That's not what people want. People expect you to change that. They want to change the corruption in delivery of services, habitual corruption and inefficiency in delivery of services. They want to change the economic management of the country. Wherever we change, we get results. For instance, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, all these arguments were advanced when we said we privatize telephones. No, privatization kaisa ho sakta hai? How terrible it is. Monopolies will come, millionaires will come. Today, is there one person who says it's a bad idea to have mobile telephone companies in India? When cement was being deregularized, decontrolled, people said, no, my God, heavens will fall. There was a steel controller in those days. We thought that was a normal way of doing things. How absurd it is now when you look back. When Doordarshan monopoly was given up, initially I thought, my God, it's terrible. Now anybody cares. So people care for delivery. They don't care who is delivering. The quality of delivery and the actual delivery is all that matter. So let's not, those of us in government, think that we are superior human beings. Let's be humble. Our only job is with people's money, with the job they entrusted to those in power, you have to deliver. By and large, we are failing to deliver in our country. And we must change the systems to improve delivery. Wherever we change the systems, we delivered very well. But there are many, many areas where we are not willing to change the system. We are finding some excuse or the other to perpetuate status quo. When we are doing very badly in many areas, status quo is not an option.
Thank you, Dr. JP Garu,
Thank you. My pleasure.
for your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.